The W.R. Chapline Land Stewardship Award gives special recognition to members of the Society for exceptional accomplishments and contributions in the application of the art and science of range management. It is given in recognition of exceptional landowners, land managers, administrators, and counselors in the field of range management and supporting disciplines. The Society for Range Management is honored to present the 2025 W.R. Chapline Land Stewardship Award to Dr. Jose Alfonso Ortega Santos.
Por su destacada gestión de la tierra, la Sociedad de Manejo de Pastizales se complace en presentar el premio W.R. Chapline Land Stewardship Award para el 2025 al Dr. José Alfonso Poncho Ortega Santos.
Dr. Jose Alfonso Poncho Ortega Santos was born in Gonzales, Tamaulipas on October 29, 1959. From his childhood, he was in contact with the rural environment because the main activity of the family was livestock and agriculture. His father, Alfonso Ortega Sanchez, lost his life to cardiac arrest while working cattle on horseback before Dr. Ortega was born. For this reason, Dr. Ortega, as the eldest grandson of the family, grew up very close to his paternal grandfather, Don Alfonso Ortega Cosio, who had a great influence on his academic development. Long conversations with his grandfather were a definite factor in Dr. Ortega's decision to continue his studies. During his second year of high school, Don Alfonso died of a cardiac arrest, and at this point, Poncho convinced his uncles to move to the city of Victoria, Mexico, to begin his studies as an agriculture engineer and zoo technician. During his childhood, his widowed mother, Mrs. Aurora Santos de Ortega, was decisive in the formation of Dr. Ortega's study habits and discipline. A tenacious woman who only completed the second year of primary school, but with a vision far beyond her preparation, taught Dr. Ortega the value of education, hard work, persistence, and that she taught herself to write print so that she could help her son with his homework. In 1976, Dr. Ortega began his studies at the College of Agronomy of the Autonomous University of Tamaulipas in the city of Victoria, Tamaulipas. In the middle of his career, Jorge Karim Gonzalez joined the faculty as a professor after finishing his master's degree at New Mexico State University, and had a great influence on Dr. Ortega's professional life. After graduating with his Bachelor of Science in 1981, Dr. Ortega returned to his native Gonzales to work as a delegate for the agriculture census. In those times, agronomy jobs were not difficult to get. However, the desire to learn more and be better prepared led Dr. Ortega to get a scholarship to study his master's degree at the Antonio Naro Agrarian University in Saltillo, Coahuila. During his master's degree, he focused his studies on mineral nutrition of grazing goats. On April 3, 1981, while doing first semester in Saltillo, he married Dr. Katie Sanchez de Ortega, a dentist who has been his life partner. In 1983, the couple's eldest son was born during the final exams of Dr. Ortega's second year of master's degree. Upon finishing his master's degree in March 1984, Dr. Ortega moved with his family to Paso del Toro, Veracruz, to begin his work as a researcher in the experimental field of the National Institute of Livestock Research. A few months later, he was appointed supervisor of the forage and grasslands area of the Central Gulf region, which ran from Aldama, Tamaulipas, to the Yucatan Peninsula. During this period, Dr. Herberto Roman Ponce, regional director of INI-FAP, had a great influence on Dr. Ortega's decision to continue with his doctoral studies. In 1985, the Ortega's first daughter, Alejandra Aurora, was born. By then, Dr. Ortega's concern to continue his doctoral studies had increased when he realized the number of knowledge gaps he was facing. At the end of 1987, Dr. Ortega met Dr. Robert Cook of Michigan State University, with whom he developed a good friendship due to his love of horses. Dr. Cook later invited Dr. Ortega to travel to East Lansing, Michigan, to study English with the condition of taming 2 colts at his property. Dr. Ortega accepted the invitation and in January 1987 traveled from Paso del Toro, Veracruz to East Lansing, Michigan by bus. In May 1987, Dr. Ortega moved to Gainesville, Florida to begin his doctoral studies, and a month later he was joined by his wife, Katie, and their children, Alfonso and Alejandra. In 1988, the youngest daughter of the Ortegas, Alfonsina, was born in Gainesville, Florida. In 1990, Dr. Ortega returned to Mexico after completing his Ph.D. and returned to work at the INI FAP at the Aldama Livestock Experimental Field Station in Tamaulipas. From 1990 to 2001, he was director of the Livestock Division, Northeast Region, and later national leader of the Forages and Grasslands Program at INI FAP. In addition to his research work, Dr. Ortega worked as a ranch advisor in the different areas of the country and managed his own ranches raising Cimbra cattle and working quarter horses. In 1997, Dr. Ortega accepted a summer position as a visiting professor to learn more about wildlife management in the Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute at Texas A&M University, Kingsville, with Dr. Fred C. Bryant, with whom he developed a close collaboration and friendship. Dr. Ortega returned to work with Dr. Bryant during the summers of 1998 and 1999, working as a grazing management consultant for King Ranch. In 2001, Dr. Tim Fulbright contacted Dr. Ortega to inform him that a position was available at CKWRI if he was interested in applying for that permanent position. By this time, the Ortega's eldest son, Alfonso, was already a student at the Faculty of Forestry Sciences of the Autonomous University of Nuevo León in Linares, Nuevo León, and Dr. Ortega saw the opportunity to educate his children in the United States. During his time at the Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute, Dr. Ortega has developed a research program focused on wildlife interactions that include habitat management for different domestic and wild species to wildlife diseases and their effect on domestic livestock. Dr. Ortega has published the results of his research in more than 140 scientific and extension publications, 8 book chapters, and 6 books. Some of his important contributions during his 23-year tenure at CKWRI include the scientific basis for using prescribed burning and cattle grazing for wildlife habitat improvement, as well as the validation of these practices on different ranches. Dr. Ortega is recognized for his ability to apply the knowledge generated in research and is considered for his skill as a practitioner. After his retirement from CKWRI in August 2024, Dr. Ortega continues to work as a consultant for ranches, covering about 300,000 acres in South Texas. He is co-owner with his son, Dr. Poncho Ortega Jr. of El Capricho Cattle Company, which operates 5 ranches in Atascosa, Duval, Kleberg, Brooks, and Jim Hogg counties in South Texas, where they produce American Red and Barangas cattle, as well as some custom grazing. The Ortegas still own Chicharrillos Ranch in South Tamaulipas in Mexico, where they are in the row cropping business. Quarter horses are one of the big passions of Dr. Ortega and his family. They use them for work at the ranches as much as possible, as well as for competing in different rodeo events, such as team roping. Dr. Ortega has been a farrier for many years, and he has maintained a list of horses that he trims and shoes for other people on a regular basis. Dr. Ortega is an avid big game hunter, and he doesn't miss many opportunities to hunt deer or any other exotic species, such as nilgai. Dr. Ortega has been an active member at SRM both at the Texas and Mexico sections and at the Parent Society. He served as the president of the Texas section in 2017 and president of the Parent Society in 2021. Dr. Ortega has received recognition for his contribution to grassland management in Mexico from the Mexican Society for Rangeland Management and the Outstanding Achievement Award and Fellow Award from the International Society for Range Management. As a professor, Dr. Ortega has graduated more than 20 master's and doctoral professionals in Mexico and the United States. Dr. Ortega resides in Kingsville, Texas, since 2001 with his wife Katie, and they have 4 grandchildren, Eli, Alfonso, Imania, and Luis. For outstanding land stewardship, the Society for Range Management is pleased to present the 2025 W.R. Chapline Land Stewardship Award to Dr. Jose Alfonso Ortega Santos.
Por su destacada gestión de la tierra, la Sociedad de Manejo de Pastizales se complace en presentar el premio W.R. Chapline Land Stewardship Award para el 2025 al Dr. José Alfonso Poncho Ortega Santos.